The Battle of Hong Kong was the destructive finale for the Transformers Age of Extinction movie. Galvatron led an army of KSI drones made out of the corpses of several Autobots and Decepticons to try and retrieve the Seed, an ancient Cybertronian artifact that has the power to convert large distances of land into metal, which he will later try to use in order to create a new Decepticon army and to try to take over the world once again. The Autobots, later joined by the Dinobots, strive to protect it, but the battle became even more chaotic once Lockdown joined the fray and employed his own weapons of mass destruction upon the city of Hong Kong. While you might have been distracted by the robot-on-robot action going on the screen, it's very easy to forget that Hong Kong is one of the most populated cities in the world, and that more likely than not, quite a few civilians got caught in the crossfire between Galvatron's army, the Autobots' attempts to defend the Seed, and Lockdown himself. Welcome to Transformers Collateral, dammit, the place where we look at the darker side of the Bayverse and we take a look at just how many innocent civilians got caught in the crossfire between the Autobots and Decepticons in the movie. This is episode 3, The Battle of Hong Kong. Alright, so before we begin, I guess I should set up some ground rules. Number 1, on-screen deaths will be counted and a few off-screen implied deaths will also be counted as well. But only if they're strongly hinted at. Last time I counted military vehicles, but in Hong Kong we see boats being thrown away, we see cars flying, and most of the time those cars and boats are supposedly occupied by human personnel. I'm not gonna estimate how many people will be on a boat. Boats will count as 2 people. Just at the very least there should be at least 2 people on a boat, and regular cars won't be counted unless we see a human that's clearly visible inside one of them. Then they will be counted. And number 3, accidental kills like stepping on a human or creating an explosion with enough force to throw a car around and that car landing on a human still counts as a kill, no matter if it's Autobot, Decepticon, or Lockdown cause. But unlike the last episode, at least we can give some credit to the Autobots, since this time it wasn't their bright idea to take the fighting somewhere really populated. So the battle starts when the Autobots are traveling to Hong Kong in their stolen spaceship to retrieve the Seed and find Joshua, which they do, but the KSI drone quickly spots them and he's the one who initiates the fight by shooting down the spaceship. Now the spaceship is not alive, but I'm gonna count it as part of the kill count as a Cybertronian spaceship, since last time I counted military vehicles, but this episode I'm also gonna be counting Cybertronian ship as part of the carnage, so you know, deal with it. So how did Bumblebee get left behind? And magically somehow the ship manages to land in an open area big enough to house the other Dinobots and have a small fight between Optimus Prime and Grimlock. Convenient. While all of this is going on, the Cemetery Wind Group is keen on retrieving the Seed that was stolen from them with a proper monetary compensation. So they start making plans to go after them. The KSI drones are getting closer, and then Ha managed to score a kill of one of the KSI drones by shooting it full of lead. A second KSI drone meets his end as he gets shot by Bumblebee. 2 more KSI drones get killed by Bumblebee's missiles, but Stinker manages to dodge that attack just fine. While the Autobots are distracted, the humans get pursued by a Cemetery Wind agent. I sort of forgot his name, so I'm sorry. And a Scooby-Doo-like chase ensues for the next 4 minutes. And it ends with K-Jagger finally manages to kill his long-hated rival, making him fall to his death. That's actually pretty violent for what's supposed to be a kids movie. So the humans regroup with the Autobots and start making plans to get the Seed out of the city. But they're quickly intercepted by the KSI drone. One of them tries to get the sneak kill on Hound, but misses, and then Hound's able to kill him using his machine gun. Another KSI drone gets killed by Bumblebee. A KSI drone gets headshotted by one of Bumblebee's missiles. How many missiles does Bumblebee have? What, are they self-regenerating or something? I should probably make a video about that someday. Anyways, moving on. While Han is dodging the many shots of the KSI drone, one civilian gets killed by the force of the explosion, and another one gets blown up by another. But this doesn't stop Han from keeping on fighting. 3 more KSI drones get killed in this scene. One gets shot by Han's shotgun, and 2 others get killed by Bumblebee's missiles, which inexplicably he doesn't seem to run out of. So the humans go inside this giant glass box to stay hidden. And in this scene we can see that there are two humans lying on the ground. One is moving, so one's clear aligned, but the other one is completely still, implying that this one is actually dead. We then cut back to Optimus, who's trying to conscript the dinobots into serving him. So after what's essentially 2 hits, Grimlock decides that he had enough, and Optimus Prime blackmails him into serving him. The other dinobots seem to be okay with this, and they transform and are completely ready to back up the Autobots. So the Autobots get on top of the respective dinobots and they all quote unquote roll out, which is probably not the most appropriate terminology right now. Khan fights the KSI drones and knocks one over. This doesn't count as a kill though, cause that one's not dead yet. As that KSI drone gets back up, Cage shoots it with his Cybertronian gun, killing it. Han kills another KSI drone, and while he's using a car as a shield, he's being shot at, and 2 more KSI drones end up dying. Han Kyber gets shot into a train, and the falling debris actually squashes 1 human civilian. And if that wasn't enough, the KSI drone missile also shot towards his general direction, so yeah, rest in pepperonis. The fight continues, another KSI drone gets killed by K. Yeager, another one gets shot down by Hound, another one gets killed by Hound's dancing, 2 more get shot, and one of the components of Jungheap gets stabbed in the head. What was it doing anyways? Did he just stop fighting for a second to look at the camera so he can get his one, glorious second of movie screen time? When Hound's about to throw his grenades, we can see 3 more KSI drone corpses around the area, implying that 3 more got killed. 2 more KSI drones get caught up in one of the grenades' explosion and results in their death. Bumblebee is like doing something alright, and Hound smashes 2 more KSI drones by pushing this giant Chinese wall onto them. I'm not really sure what they're called, but I'm sure someone's gonna correct me in the comments down below. So the Dinobots finally arrive. Optimus Prime kills 3 KSI drones while Grimlock eats one and throws him away like a chewed out doggy toy. Optimus kills 1 more and feeds the other one to Grimlock. Han kills 1 more KSI drone with his helmet, which, yeah, I'm not sure if I buy that, but okay, he does that. Okay, so big moment here. When I saw this moment for the first time in the film, I couldn't help but notice the civilians that got caught up in the crossfire here. So the Dinobots are charging, and Spike over here kills 2 KSI drones and squashes a few more civilians alongside with them, bringing up the total of civilian casualties to 9. And of course he chews up 1 more KSI drone and tail whips the other one, bringing our total of KSI drone kills to 40. Did I mention that we're not halfway there either? So 3 more KSI drones get burned to death, while in this scene, 5 more KSI drones get killed by the combined power of the Dinobots. Surprisingly and impossibly enough, none of the civilians here die, which I'm completely outstanded by. Han pulls the try and true method of shooting one of Shockwave's eyes to kill him immediately, which always seems to work. I'm not counting the 2 head deaths as 2 kills, I'm just counting it as 1. So after he gets the 2 head drone off him, we can see that there's another Jungheap drone that got killed off screen. So the Dinobots finally make it to the battlefield, and Grimlock decides to assert his dominance by eating one of the KSI drones. And soon thereafter, Bumblebee proceeds to kill another KSI drone before being picked up by Strafe for a lift. Drift kills 1 KSI drone and then kills another KSI drone that was surrendering, which kinda breaks the Genobot convention. You're not allowed to do that, Drift. That's considered a war crime. He should go to jail. So anyways, Stinger and Bumblebee have a fight across the sky, which I might add, it's really unfair because technically it's a 2v1, since Bumblebee could have died so many times during the fight if it wasn't for Strafe. Unfortunately for Stinger, no amount of KSI or human engineering can prepare you to go up against the most powerful and awesome force of all, the plot armor. So when it looks like all the KSI drones are done for, Lockdown decides to make his appearance onto the battlefield and begins using his ship as a giant magnet to create some havoc and lure Optimus Prime to him. So we see a couple of boats being lifted into the air. Remember, boats technically count as 2 people. So the boats that we see on the screen raised our current number to 15 civilians. We see 2 more boats being lifted in this scene. Luckily for these people, they all managed to get out of the bus in time before being picked up. Except for 1 unfortunate soul that didn't manage to get out. We have another civilian that falls off a car. Now, humans can't really fall from high distances without either dying or being severely crippled. So I'm just gonna count this as a kill, cause this guy's probably F for life. So after making the Chinese look good for the Chinese market for a little bit, we then cut back to the Autobots and the humans as they encounter Lockdown's little magnetism trick for the first time. Now I'm not gonna count all the boats here because I'm assuming that these were actually kind of, you know, docked to the bay. So they're most likely empty. If we see boats that are kind of, you know, further in the ocean, or we don't really have a good clue where they came from, then you know, not gonna count them as civilian kills. That big boat, however, is a cruiser which holds multiple people. I'm however gonna count that one. More likely than not, there will at least be someone there to keep an eye on it, or, you know, work on repairs or something. So the Autobots managed to dodge the falling debris, luckily, and begin making their way out, all the while protecting the humans and the random civilians. We see a cargo boat explode in the background, where also, I might add, there are civilians running towards too, so more likely than not, at least 2 civilians got killed by this one. So in this scene, we see several people falling off the boat into the water. Now, you might think that all of these people survive, but then you see that some of them drop cargo, some others fall straight on top of them. So their chances of survival are actually pretty minuscule, so that raises the total kill count to 33 civilians. I'm not counting the boats, I'm just counting the civilians that we see visibly fall here. So the humans are backwards driving away from the destruction, and while we do see a lot of debris and cars falling into the populated area, we don't actually see any humans like be visibly squashed by them on screen, or at least implied to. Trust me, I checked many times. However, that's another boat, so we raised up the counter. Another civilian is seen rolling at the ground, supposedly after being hit by one of the falling debris. It was probably that air conditioner right there, to be honest. That guy is the true villain. So in this scene, I'm gonna be counting the train as one civilian, just cause, well, you know, someone will have to be, you know, managing the train, you know, conducting it. So that's gonna be counted as one. We also see plenty of civilians in the background where that giant ship is falling, and they're no longer seen after it falls. So the total number raises to 38. Another civilian manages to dodge one of the cars falling, but sadly gravity is a so the car falls back, likely squishing his legs. And remember, that's probably still gonna hurt because that thing fell from a high place, and you know how momentum works, so that guy's crippled for life. Still gonna be counted as a kill. So we have a small scene of the humans trying to not get lifted into the spaceship for tension's sake. But like we all know, the humans are protected by this thing called plot armor, so the tension here is lost. So the humans finally managed to meet up again with the Autobots. Why don't you guys just stick with the Autobots? Why do you guys have to separate every time? Most of your problems happen because you guys separate from the group. Don't you guys watch horror movies? Stick together, people, jeez. So Lockdown sends one mercenary ship after the Autobots, which immediately gets eaten by Slug. That's gonna be counted as a second Cybertronian ship and as one mercenary, because those things are always piloted by at least one Decepticon. So Lockdown finally spots Optimus Prime and the Dinobots, so he uses his big magnetism ship to try and capture them. But Optimus Prime shoots it down. I'm not gonna be counting that as a kill since it's just part of the ship, it's not like the full-on ship. So the Dinobots fall, and I'm pretty sure Grimlock just squashed a couple of civilians, raising the total death count to 43. So anyways, now we're in the finale, the final fight. Optimus Prime goes on his own to have his typical 1v1 against the main bad guy stick that all the Transformers movies seem to do. Well, except for the last night, since that was a team effort. Kay decides to help, and the other Autobots and Dinobots go ahead to protect the sea. During the fight, Harold Attinger catches up to Kay, and he's still pretty angry that his boyfriend got killed and that he hasn't had quite enough screen time as he wanted from this movie. So he holds Kate at gunpoint, and after monologuing, Optimus Prime takes the chance and kills Harold Attinger for good. Lockdown takes the chance to neutralize Optimus Prime, but Kate decides to repay the favor and tries to help Optimus. Lockdown shoots towards Kate's direction, and we see that there's another human that was magically there and just got shot down to bits by Lockdown, Dark of the Moon style. Now, I know that this is just a filming error, that there was someone else there that was part of the filming crew and he was never supposed to be there, but hey, they kept on in the movie, so I'm counting it. So the rest of the humans and Bumblebee showed up, they have a small fight, Bumblebee gets knocked out and never seen again till the end of the movie somehow, and Optimus Prime kills Lockdown in a very not so honorable way. But the victory celebration is cut short as KSI drones have a last ditch attempt to try and capture the sea. There are a lot of KSI drones here, including the 2-head that's not seen in this shot, meaning that our current number of KSI drone kills moves up to 61. Oh my god, they made a lot of those. Optimus Prime leaves the area safely, and then we see Galvatron promising to return, which he never does, Megatron does, so I'm gonna count this as an off-screen death. with him being the last confirmed dead KSI drone. So our final kill count is 62 KSI drones seen killed on screen, 2 mercenaries, 44 2 civilians, 2 cemetery wing agents, and 2 Cybertronian ships. So our total kill count is 111. This is the very minimum. At the very minimum, at the very least, this is the number of civilians that got killed. Honestly, the tally could be bigger because there was more, off-screen deaths due to the, objects crashing down and maybe some of those boats being, housing people inside of them. At least from what we see on screen, 111 kills happened, leaving the Hong Kong battle second place in our collateral damage total kill count, with the Battle of Mission City being at third place and the Blackout Raid being at first place. Although to be honest, in canon, I'm pretty sure that more people died in the Battle of Hong Kong than what they did in the Blackout Raid. But like I said, I'm only counting on-screen deaths. But hey, I wasn't kidding when I said this battle was a massacre. But anyways guys, before we go, shout out to our patrons Morise Prime, Mateo, Mario Gordon, Christopher Prime, Stephanie Ballard, and the absolute madman himself, Jordan the Great, who donated $100. Thank you guys for donating, it's much appreciated. And if you guys want to donate to my Patreon, links will be in the description down below and in the comments down below. By donating to my Patreon, you get access to some of my videos early, you can request your own videos, you receive a shout out at the end of my videos, you can participate in some of my videos if you so choose, and you get a few previews of some of my new works that are currently in development. There are plenty of rewards that you get as a result of becoming one of my patrons, and I do plan to adding a few more in the future as time goes on and the patrons grow, but keep in mind that donating is entirely optional, because freedom is the right of all sentient beings. Thank you to my patrons for donating, it's much appreciated. And if you guys want to donate, you know what to do. So yeah, thanks a lot guys. Anyways guys, that's it for this video. I know I haven't done this series in Jesus about a year. Oh my god, I really took my time. But I feel like doing it again because it's been a while and it's been on my mind lately, and I know some of you guys wanted me to return this series. I don't know which battle I'm gonna do next. I was thinking either the Revenge of the Fallen Egypt fight or the Cybertron scene from the BD movie. Both battles are probably not gonna have the same, amount of kills as the previous episodes did, but I still think it could be fun to just take a look at the amount of Autobots, Decepticons, and civilians that got caught in the crossfire. If you like this series, remember like, comment, subscribe, it lets me know that you guys want to see more of it. I'll try for the next episode to not take over a year to make, okay? I'm busy with college recently because I just started, so if my videos slow down, and then it's because of that, so I'm sorry, there's not much I can do about it. I'm already busy enough as it is. So yeah, that's it for now guys. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay safe guys.